Hamilton, a film version of the super successful Broadway musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which isn't actually a film adaptation, it's just an actual stage performance filmed with professional cameras. Two whole performances were filmed back in 2016 with live audience, with the original cast. Then they spent another few days on close-ups and crane shots and so on. And after 3 years of editing, the recorded version was ready. Now, it was supposed to be released in movie theaters, like a regular film, but due to the pandemic, it was sold to Disney Plus and released there in July. Now, I had it on my radar ever since, based purely on positive things I heard about it, but not knowing what it actually is. And I couldn't get around to actually watching it. I'm normally not that big of a fan of musicals. So I put it off and I put it off. And recently with Spotify doing the year-end summary, I saw a lot of people on the internet were talking about how the songs from this musical took up their entire top 10 lists. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go finally. So yesterday I put it on in the evening. I saw the runtime, 2 hours, 40 minutes. And I thought to myself, oh boy, that's a time investment. I don't know if I have the energy to do all of this tonight. Maybe I'll watch some and then finish tomorrow. And then I hit play. And within 20 seconds of the first song, I was hooked. And by the second one, I knew I was going to watch the whole thing right away and probably listen to the songs on Spotify right after it ended. It is magnificent. It's absolutely stunning in every respect. And I can't wipe the smile off my face to this moment when I think of it. Now, when you actually consider the idea on paper, it sounds like someone had too much cocaine. It's a musical about the life of Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers of the USA, and the beginning of that country, as it started being one. Done with exactly zero historical accuracy in terms of casting, the people populating the stage are mainly people of color and have been selected not to look like the historical figures, but to fit the songs they were meant to sing. And the songs themselves are very modern and draw heavily on hip-hop, rap, rhythm and blues, also with a touch of rock, pop, and in general just a lot of different stuff mixed together that none of it has place in this time period. And yet it works. And it works so well. I mean, as it turns out, the life of Hamilton himself has in fact been quite interesting and eventful. But still it sounds rather like a boring idea for a musical, better fitting for a history class. But somehow the style of music selected for this show completely turns it around and makes it energetic, lively, fun, entertaining, just amazing in every aspect. The casting is spectacular. There's not a single person who I thought was dragging the performance down. In fact, after about 5 minutes, you just cease to wonder about all these black dudes rapping about, playing, the founding fathers. You just roll with it and welcome each and every new character with a wide smile. Lin-Manuel Miranda is obviously terrific in the lead role. And considering he wrote the whole thing, I think he's a genius. But my favorite by far was, in terms of the performances, was David Diggs, who plays Lafayette in the first act and Jefferson in the second act. Every time he's on stage, he's like a magnet. He's just stealing the show away from everyone else. The songs are catchy, well written, witty in terms of lyrics, and at the same time quite funny when needed. The amazing thing about those lyrics is how snappy and quick they are, and very musical as they should be. And yet they provide so much information about what's going on, because you have to realize the whole show is the songs. There are no regular dialogue scenes like in theater. It's non-stop music pretty much. Musically speaking, I love the fact that there are so many motifs which return or are woven into other later songs as time goes on. The show often brings back older tunes or fragments of them in quite ingenious ways, and the way these sometimes different songs fit together is unbelievable. The way it's all done visually on stage is also quite spectacular. There's this amazing thing they have where the round center of the stage can rotate, and then a ring around it can also rotate independently. So often you'll have characters dancing in the middle, rotating clockwise, other dancers around them in the ring going counterclockwise, and then something else happening on the balconies and the stairs around. I mean, there's so much going on. And when you think about it, the whole stage dressing isn't actually that rich. The elements used and reused are actually quite sparse, quite few when you think about it. But because of how magnetic the singers and the songs are, and the way the lightning brings out the specific elements of the stage that we should be looking at, you never really notice that. It feels like it's a whole world on this stage. Battlefields, taverns, offices, houses, streets, even the palace of the British King George, who is unbelievable as this recurring comic relief. I mean, the 2.5 hours just breeze by, and I found myself moving my foot to the rhythm of the songs all the time. It's been a while since I had such a pleasant experience watching something. And yeah, technically, you can't argue that it's brilliant. You can only argue that it's not a film. You can argue whether it is a film or not, since it's a recording of the Broadway show. But on IMDb, it is listed as a film. It was meant to have a theatrical release. That's how I decided to treat it. I don't care about the rest. I'm doing a review of it. I'm putting it on my top 10 list for this year, for sure. Because to me, at what it is trying to be and at what it's doing, Hamilton is perfect. It's flawless. I wouldn't change a single thing. Maybe make some of the songs longer just so I can enjoy them more. It's a stunning spectacle. It's a wonderful piece of art. Great way to spend the evening, or many evenings as it were, because I can see people just putting it on as background, as music when doing something around the house. In fact, I've read that since the summer, since it's been released on Disney Plus, it's already become the most watched movie on streaming services ever. I don't know how reliable that information is, but I can believe it because I was knocked off my feet. I now regret I don't live in New York and could never see it live, but this is the next best thing. Don't miss it.